Hi guys, this is Spartan765 and today I'm doing a video review on an inside the waistband holster I picked up about 2 months ago, a month ago or so, whenever. It's the Galco inside the waistband leather holster with the Kydex, I suppose you call this the pad and this is the actual holster with the Kydex holster. Now this holster here is designed, it's not loaded, is designed for the Ruger LC9. Now, this is one of my favorite, this is, in fact, actually is my favorite extreme concealment handgun. Now, when I say extreme concealment, I mean going to the effort to where you are just wearing, you know, shorts and a t-shirt concealed. Now, this right here is my summer concealed carry. Now, the reason for that is because it's small, but not too small where I can't get a full grip on it. And that's one thing I like about the LC9 is you got the finger extension on the magazine there. You know, the barrel's short enough where it can be easily concealed, but just long enough where you can get some accurate shots off with it. It's pretty nice at the range. It's a full double stage, so it's pretty safe for carry, locked and cocked. It's got a manual safety. Personally, I don't use the manual safety when I carry with this because it's got a full double stage trigger concealed in the holster. I don't like the manual safety for carry because of the situation ever arise and there was you know, an adrenaline rush where I needed to actually use my gun to defend myself. This is a statistic from another instructor that 40% of the time in intense situations people will forget to remove the manual safety no matter how much training they've done drying the gun. It's got a nice double stage, only carry, you know, locked and cocked if you feel comfortable. It's definitely something you want to consider before you carry locked and cocked. If you're comfortable with the gun, you know, you'll be just fine. Glocks here, like this is a Glock 17. You can carry this locked and cocked all day. I mean, as long as you got a good holster and you got that, it's a safe action system, so it's not going to get dropped, not going to get bumped and go off. Like I said here, this is a double stage. Nice thing I like about this here, I'll show you again once it's unloaded. When you pull the trigger on this, now here, let me put a snap cap in there here. Snap cap in here, see? Snap cap. Now, when you drop the slide, obviously the loaded indicator is up. But when you pull the trigger, now if you watch here, see how the hammer, where the hammer lines up with the receiver right there? That's the metal insert is called. It's called the receiver. When the hammer lines up with that, then it's a hair trigger. So that's one thing I really like about this gun, is that being a full double stage, you're not guessing when the trigger is going to go off. You know when it's going to go off. Because if you're trying to shoot for accuracy with this gun at the range, you could tell when it's going to go off. So it's kind of like a, I don't want to say double stage trigger because it's not. It just, you can visually see when the hammer is going to fly forward. Now anyway, I'm getting off the holster review and into the gun review, which I have a bad tendency of getting sidetracked. But anyway, this holster fits right in here like this, and your belt goes inside and through here. And like I said, this is an inside the waistband holster, meaning that I can't really show you in this angle, but this goes inside your waistband at about your 3:30, 4 o'clock position on your right hip, and then the belt goes through here and over here. Very comfortable. The leather is very soft and easy on your skin. Now you're probably wondering why I have a CZ52 out here and I'm talking about this holster. Something that I realized after I bought the holster. There's a lot of people out there who, you know, have a CZ52, you know, think they might want to carry it. It's an okay carry gun, not optimal. I mean, there's very few limited hollow points out there for this gun. All you're really going to find is full metal jacket, and I am a strong believer in only carrying hollow points. I don't like carrying full metal jacket because there's too much penetration power there, and if you needed to defend yourself, the bullet could go through the assailant and cause collateral damage. So I only use hollow points. But anyway, as you see how this gun fits in here, now it's a Kydex molding, so I mean once it's just like this, you know, there's not a whole lot of retention. But once it's on you and the belt pushes over here, it catches right inside the trigger guard here. And there's a decent amount of friction or tension on that. So I mean the gun's not going to fall out when you're sitting down or anything. I mean, it's a very well-made holster. Now, another gun that like I said, the CZ52, close the slide on this, you can see it's unloaded. As you can see, the trigger guard pattern on this CZ52 is extremely similar to that in the LC9. The only difference being is that the CZ52 is considerably thinner on the trigger guard. But if you put, now like I said, as we all know, is that there is not a lot of holsters out there, aftermarket holsters for this gun. You might find one or two, or you might have a custom-made Kydex for this. But I found here that gun fits right in there just like that. I mean, it fits in there almost like the holster's made for the thing. Now, as far as retention goes, I mean, you have a little bit of, this here, side movement, side to side. But when the gun's on you, your body's going to be pushing against the gun, and the belt's going to be pushing against the Kydex here. Now, when it's on your body, you still will have a little bit of a retention clip there. Not a lot of, you'll have it. Okay, what's the term I'm looking for? With the LC9, it clips in here with the body pressure in the belt. So that's still, it's a level 1 holster. It's got some level of retention to it. With this, it does not really clip into the trigger guard. It does a tiny bit, but being that the slide on the CZ52 is a little bit kind of distorts in the camera view, but it's just a tiny bit wider than the LC9. You do get quite a bit of friction fit though when it's on your body. So I mean, personally, I would consider this holster. Now keep in mind, this is just my personal opinions. If you go out and you carry the gun with this holster and the gun falls out and goes off, I'm not liable. But personally, I feel that I could comfortably and safely carry the firearm in this holster. Now, as you'll see in my previous videos on concealed carry holsters, I say don't use a holster for a firearm it's not designed, and people will be calling me hypocrites if they see my other video. But being that there's not a lot of holsters out there for this firearm, I would consider this, from my carry point of view, is that I would consider this, for me, a safe alternative to carry the CZ52. Now, like I said, there's, it does kind of, fall out, but if you have, when your body's pushing on here, you can give it a little bit of a shake and it's not really going to slip right out. But again, like I said, this is a demonstrational, just informational video. Again, I wouldn't, I'm not telling people to go ahead and use this holster for this gun. I'm just saying, from my experiences, I found out the holster seems to work well for this gun, as well as any, holster that's not intended for the gun could work. But I don't generally carry this gun just because I don't really, you got a 8-round magazine, and sometimes on this gun here, the slide release is kind of, the slide release sometimes does not, well, what am I talking about? I fixed that. Alright, I forgot that I fixed the slide release on this gun about 3 months ago. Do a lot of work on a lot of different guns, so occasionally I'll forget something. But I generally just don't like to carry this gun, just because of the simple fact that it's not really an optimal carry gun. I mean, it can be used for carry if it's the only gun you have, but being a 7.62 by 25, it does have a lot of penetration power to it, a bit more than the 9mm does, and the fact there's not jacketed hollow points or semi-jacketed hollow points out there for this. I mean, that are readily available, easy to find. I mean, there might be some specialty stuff, but overall, I don't recommend this for carry. This is more of a collector's and range gun. But anyway, the Galco holster, you can get it for about 50-60 bucks. I mean, it's a great investment, especially if you carry. Like, I don't use it at all in the winter because I'll just carry. I have a level 2 Serpa for both of my XDM and my Glock 17. And I'll carry those, just put my jacket over it. Another downside to this is, obviously carry in the summer, especially if you live in a state where your carry is significantly restricted to outlaw any type of printing. If you want to carry a bigger gun like this, it is very hard to carry it comfortably without accidentally printing. Now there's two types of printing that people will do. The first printing is the unethical kind that I don't agree with. It's just printing, you know, to show people that you have a gun. The other type of printing is accidental printing, like if you bend over to pick something up and your gun prints a little bit on your shirt. Now, I don't think people should be able to get in trouble for that. In Minnesota, it's open or concealed. There's no printing laws, but in other states, there's printing laws. I believe Texas is one of them. But overall, this holster, if you have to worry about printing, is a good holster, because you'll be able to flop your shirt over it, and it holds very tight to the body. You know, the Ruger LC9 being a smaller, and they also make these holsters for full-size handguns like the Glocks, the 1911s, the XDs, the M&Ps, and stuff like that. But overall, LC9 Galco concealment holster inside the waistband, excellent choice. Everybody likes different stuff, but this is my personal choice. I'm not a huge fan of those. As you see, I have a video up of a pocket holster. It's a nylon little man-made material pocket holster, and inside the waistband, you know, a little nylon holster that's soft nylon. That's an okay option if you're not having to sit down or anything. Pocket holsters are, You know, my basic problem with pocket holsters is there is obviously trigger protection, which is a good thing, but my problem is if you need to use the weapon to defend yourself, trying to rip the gun out of your pocket, especially if it can bind or catch on stuff, is not always a good thing. You want to be able to quick draw, and with this holster, you can quick draw. You can draw very, very quickly with this holster setup here. There are a lot of other manufacturers out there that produce holsters like this, but Galco is the one I went with. I read a lot of good reviews about them. They back their product good, and you know, as you can see, it's not a cheaply made holster at all. If you guys got any comments or questions, feel free to send me a message and I will try to respond, or any video requests, let me know. I don't generally respond to comments as much because I get so many of them, but personal messages, I try to respond to almost all of them if I can. Spartan765 out.